How's it going? The concept of burnout came up in one of my calls today, and I thought I would spend a little bit of time just thinking through what I've seen there, and then as far as people's experiences when they got to a place where they were really burnt out, and then maybe a little bit about what I've seen work as far as avoiding that or recovering from that. So the first piece is just, what is burnout? I think, there's this sort of polarity between burnout on one side and then on the other side, engagement. So when you're really engaged and things are working well and you're working in your zone of genius and on things that you can do well, and with a balance between what's needed from you and what you can achieve, I think what you see there is people are classically, generally quite engaged when they have that balance. And then what you see when people get out of balance and there's this gap between what they can deliver and what's being expected in the systems that they're part of, in their own, what they hold themselves accountable for. So it's not just, what others need from you. It's also what you think about what you should be doing and whether you're doing it or not. So just thinking about that gap and what closes it. And I think the thing that came to mind is there's this idea of total leadership, which has helped me a lot. The idea is thinking about where your needs in several buckets. So, there's a bucket of, often I think for founders, one bucket that's really under, sort of like people don't think about as much, but is really important, is the bucket of community. I think that in particular, when you see burnout, sometimes people have not had the time to invest in community, so they also don't get the support that they need from their community. So that's one bucket to just think about. There's home. That's the other one that oftentimes is sort of diminished if we're really focused on work. So that's like the closest core group of people who can usually support you, but also need things from you. And then there's yourself, the idea of your mind, your body, your spirit. How are you serving, making sure that you have time to recover, recuperate, and grow? So, and then there's work. And oftentimes that's the domain where the imbalance is, where we're super focused on the work piece, home, community, and ourself get diminished during those times. And so it's just, I think the idea of having support, being able to create a world where these domains work together. I think some examples are, if you have kids and you want to have a community piece, but also maybe a mind, body, spirit thing is like you can swim and your kids like to swim too. And so you make time to get to a pool where there's like a place for the kids to be. Maybe there's a community component, talking to the other parents, and you can sort of achieve several wins there, where maybe even there's something you can do to further your career as you develop that community and make those connections. That would be a four-way win, right? So there's a work piece, there's a home piece, you got the kids with you, community piece, meeting other people there, and then something that rejuvenates you in your mind, body, and spirit. So just bringing in this concept of four-way wins and focusing on places where you can find those wins, there's like an efficiency there to where you're able to serve many parts of where you need to be and who has expectations from you and who you're serving, but also you're bringing other parts in that maybe aren't classically thought as service, but also make sure that we're the best people that we can be, that we're able to be real, to be whole, to have energy to innovate and make improvements, and just, classically have good performance in each one of the different areas. So hopefully that's helpful. Just thinking of four-way wins, the idea of work, home, community, and self, how we can do things that bring those together and serve all those things at once, or maybe even three at once, but also not just focusing in on one, which is usually work, serving all of those areas and making sure we have a balance there, or that we're keeping those things all connected and in mind as we're making decisions about how to invest our time. So I hope that's helpful. Just wanted to share that with you. Have a good one.